Hey folks, what's up? Welcome back to another Palentines video, and today we're going to go over Serena Whimsicott, right? The sync grid, some team comps, all that stuff, like skill, all that. So starting off, we have to realize what Whimsicott does, right? It's a tech sync pair, but most of the time you're going to be using her to deal damage. In my opinion, she's probably the best fairy type damage dealer that we have in the game right now. She does fantastic sync nuke damage, right? With the built-in, 2x multiplier over here. You got the inertia over here, right? And she also does like solid moon blast damage as well with Hunter's Instinct, ramming speed, that's 60%. Then you got Overpower for another 30%, and Prowess for another 50%, right? Obviously, Overpower, it's slightly controversial if people like to pick up Overpower or not, but we'll go over the different scenarios later. But yeah, she's mainly here to do damage. She could also be a support that could slow the opponent down a lot with both Stun Spore and Cotton Spore, right? Obviously, Paralysis slows the opponent down, and then Cotton Spore lowers their speed, right? If you guys don't know, what does lowering their speed do, right? In my opinion, lowering their opponent's speed is actually quite underrated in this game. Or just slowing the opponent down in general. Because if you slow them down, they could potentially get to a point where they just don't have enough move gauges to queue up a move like consecutively, right? And in those cases, you could just basically get some extra free attacks in, which I find very, very valuable, right? So, I mean, it's just free turns for you, which is pretty cool, right? So, yeah, I do find that relatively valuable as a tech, right? But it's not like anything crazy, right? If you compare it to, obviously, regular Serena, what can you do, right? Regular Serena is just incredibly broken. But anyways, let's get into this. So first of all, in terms of lucky skills, since she is mostly here to do damage, number one suggestion would be Critical Strike 2, right? If you can't get Crit Strike 2, you go for Crit Strike 1. Can't get that, something like a Power Flux 3 would still be solid, right? Especially since Whimsicott actually would maintain pretty high move gauges for the most part, because you have like Sugar Rush, which, that's +2 speed for your whole team, and then has like the free move next effect to yourself. So it's not a terrible idea if you can't get Crit Strike 2. But obviously, if you can't get Crit Strike 2, get Crit Strike 2, because Crit Strike 2 also applies to your sync move and it just does more damage on average, right? So anyways, let's get into the synchros. Starting out at 1 out of 5. Just nothing too interesting at 1 out of 5, like most of these, right? Just pick like everything up basically. I don't know. I guess, I mean, if you don't need these, then you don't need these. But otherwise, there's no 1 out of 5. Figure it out yourself, right? 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. You actually don't have too much interesting stuff either. Actually, in my opinion. Obviously you do have inertia, which is really, really nice. But outside of inertia, it's like, what are you really working with here, right? You got like some of the sun nodes, speeding sun 3 and solar shield, but I really don't find it worth it because you don't really need speeding sun. Like, you give your whole team +4 speed, and then on top of that, you got the free like moves. Like, do you really need extra speed under sun and then solar shield? You don't get affected by status conditions. Whimsicott has okay-ish defenses, but not that great to be like a main tank. So we won't be tanking with Whimsicott either. So most of the time you won't be hit by status conditions either. So I really don't like Whimsicott's sun nodes. Like, I guess healing sun is okay, but again, it's not like the biggest deal in the world. So I just wouldn't go for any sun build for Whimsicott, honestly, right? But in terms of, what you could do, you could definitely, again, if you're trying to do damage, again, inertia is solid, right? You want to pick up inertia, and then the Moonblast nodes over here, you could pick up that down here, and then you could pick up Sugar Rush, MP Refresh too. So if you do get an MP Refresh, you don't need like an extra speed buffer on your team. You could just, if you get the MP Refresh, you get +6 speed for your whole team, which again triggers your maximum damage output on ramming speed, right? So that's nice. As for some other stuff, I mean, there really isn't much. The rest of you just pick up like a stat note or whatever. If you want like Troublemaker instead, sure. Oh, you don't want Dauntless. You want special defense. Unless you're facing some like opponent that just has like that just lowers your special attack. But most of the time you won't get hit by those, right? Again, it just depends on which one you want to pick up, just in terms of what you're facing. If you want Troublemaker, go for that as well. I don't feel like Troublemaker's worth it, man. It's like it's a 8 energy node, and then you're already at like 90% on stun sport anyways. Obviously, it's not 100, so you can still miss, but like 8 energy for that extra 10%. I don't know, man. I just feel it's better just going with this instead. Or if you like, I don't know what's more worth it. Let's see. Uh, I guess this is a bit cheaper if you don't want like stun spore, move gauge refresh either. But then again, there isn't really much else to like invest into anyways. I guess you could pick up this 10 special attack maybe. Speed, special attack, or double special attack. But yeah, it's not the big deal in the world, right? So, moving on to 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 is where you get most of the stuff, right? And there are some ways to tackle it in terms of, again, just damage wise. There are 2 different routes you could go. Either you pick up Overpower or you don't pick up Overpower, right? The upsides of picking up Overpower is you have a higher damage cap, right? Because Overpower gives you an extra 30%. But the downside of picking up Overpower is it really worth it? Because Overpower, it's slow. It's really slow to max that out, right? The only other minus, well, I wouldn't say only other, but you can pick up some minus special attack units in this game, but then again, you need someone to buff. It really just comes down to team comp, right? So we'll talk about team comp first. But in terms of if you want to pick up Overpower or not, right? So if you're not picking up Overpower, this is something you could run. You could have Onyx, decrease the opponent's speed, obviously Sabrina for the crit and max out special attacks, all that stuff. Also max out speed if you want with Reflect, Pep Rally, right? Sabrina's a fantastic pair for Serena. And then in this team, if facing something that's high special, tank with Sabrina. If facing something high physical, you tank with Brock, right? And Brock, obviously, on top of that, you could also lower the opponent's attack with a Rock Tomb Overwhelm, which is nice. Gives you, the potions, this and that, all that stuff, right? And then, if you're picking up Overpower, you kinda, I guess, want someone to, decrease the opponent's a special attack, right? So you either go Viola Masquerade, which is an overall better unit, right? Because you also get the extra, the special defenses that it has, right? You could trap the opponent if you want, infestation, all that stuff. Or you could go with Voltorb, right? Or Electrode, I guess, is what it is now. Oh, wait, is Electrode even in here? Because it doesn't have grid. Oh, okay, it is here. So, the upside with Electrode is very, very fast for one. Viola's not terrible though. Electrode is just much quicker of a setup, right? Because it gives you -2 special attack per Eerie Impulse instead of -1 for Masquerade. So you're much quicker in terms of taking it. And the AoE on Masquerade really doesn't matter because, you don't have any AoE moves on Serena anyways, right? So Voltorb is straight up a quicker, setup. You could get -6 special attack on your opponent before you even sync, right? Which is really nice. Not that you get anything from minus special attack on the opponent's sync, but just after you sync, you can just start attacking right away with the max multipliers there, right? On Overwhelm. Here's the thing: what I don't like about or not Overpower, right? The thing that I don't like about picking up Overpower is like the speed debuffs, right? You could still work around it. Like, you could still like Cotton Spore, right? But just wastes turns. I'd just rather just go in and start attacking, right? I'd just rather, just have like someone to lower opponent's speed instead, and then like afterwards you just start attacking. Don't have to worry about lowering the opponent's special attack. Just start moonblasting your opponent, right? And then obviously, if you don't pick up Overpower, it's not like the damage difference is like crazy, because you could still you have energy freed up to pick up Moonblast, right? So let's look into these different builds. So first of all, going with Overpower, you could do something like this, right? Up there for Overpower, down here for Paralysis Synergy. 5, or I guess you could pick up can you pick up move gauge? Yeah, you could pick up move gauge refresh instead of the Moonblast power up if you want. But again, it is a really fast unit with speed buffs, so I don't think that's that big of a deal to pick up move gauge refresh. So maybe you could get away with getting, you know, some 2 extra Moonblast power ups instead. The unfortunate part about this build is you can't pick up any sync node power up, so you are also trading in like some you know, less sync move damage, right? So yeah, that is again your build if you want for Overpower, right? And for a non-Overpower build, again, you do have some more options because that's the big, you know, 10 energy that you don't have. Well, 14, I guess, if you want to pick up the speed as well. Big 14 energy that you don't need to go and bother with, right? So you could go up here, pick up Inertia, right? Come down, pick Paralysis Synergy. Or actually, you could do something like this. Actually, which one saves you a bit more? I think this actually, yeah, this saves you a bit more. You could throw in like an extra, either, you know, Moonblast, or if you don't want these, you could go over here, haste, and then pick up the second sync node. So you get both sync nodes. So you will definitely do a bit more damage here sync move wise, and you could potentially do more damage overall. I haven't done the math. But you know, again, I kind of just like this build better because you just have more options, right, in terms of you know, working with your team, all that stuff. And again, you do more sync move damage. So again, it really just depends on your playstyle, right? Yeah, so there's that. In terms of like a full like tech sort of build, there really isn't much tech on her grid. Like there's like Troublemaker on Stun Spore, which again, I don't even know if it's worth it. Like honestly, if I were to run Whimsicott as like a tech sort of unit for like if you're running a team with, let's say, you know, Kamo, right? Kamo, you want the AoE Stun Spore Paralysis for her Paralysis Synergy 2 and Static Shock 5, right? Instead of like just going for like stuff like Troublemaker or whatever, in my opinion, I think the better option would just to run Whimsicott as like a sub DPS while you're at it, right? Because again, if you're running like a team like this is gonna be a really fast team. Like I wouldn't really bother with like the move gauge refreshes on Cotton Spore, move gauge refresh on Stun Spore, or whatever, right? Like Sabrina's fast, Whimsicott's fast. I guess Cynthia's pretty slow, but you know, with the speed that you give your team, it shouldn't be a big deal at all, right? Or if you don't have Sabrina, you can swap that with something like, I don't know, Singsu Blue, or even Lyra, right? Because Lyra, you know, Singsu Cynthia, you already have +4 special attack yourself, and every time you sync, you get more special attack anyways, right? So Lyra, Singsu Blue, Sabrina, whatever, right? Something that could give your team crit, at least +2 crit, right? So even something like a Torchic would be fine, right? Although I don't know about attacking with Torchic though, because you don't have heals, or whatever, right? Sabrina does have heals. So yeah, there's something like that, I guess. But yeah, just go something like, obviously you can't pick up Inertia because you will be wanting to sync with Komodo, even though like her sync move does more damage. But you know, if you're running Komodo, 99% of the time you will be fighting something that's Dragon Weak, so you want to get that extra 2-time, you know, super effective multiplier on the opponent. And plus, again, she gets like stat buffs on her sync, which is really nice, right? So you're not going to pick up Inertia, so what you're probably going to do is pick up Moonblast MGR, maybe Overpower, right? Because again, there isn't really much you can pick up. I'd probably pick up Sugar Rush, just so, you know, if you get some MP refreshes, you could get some more special attack for yourself, so you don't have to really rely on like Sabrina getting like a NPR and 6 cents to give you some more, right? So if you get that by yourself, you could just give yourself more special attack, and also the free next move is nice, right, as well. And then Paralysis Synergy 5 up here, and just, I guess, just pick up some Moonblast power up nodes for the most part, and then you should be fine. Again, I'm not a huge fan of picking up stuff like Troublemaker, Move Gauge Refresh and Stun Spore, Move Gauge Refresh and Cotton Spore, whatever, right? I just prefer just picking all, you know, this stuff up instead. Actually, you could drop that and then pick up an extra Moonblast down here instead. and then you got like 2 more for either speed, special attack, doesn't matter, right? So yeah, that's probably what I like a bit better. There's no point for speedy entry. Again, you get +4 without MP refresh, +6 with MP refresh, and if you have Sabrina, you got, you know, that extra speed if you want, +2 from her reflect, right? Pep rally, and or Lyra, yeah, or blue. All of them give you enough speed, so there's really no point for speedy entry, honestly. So yeah, that's maybe this one, I guess. Just some, you know, different ways to run Whimsicott. I think she's a fantastic unit, right? Really, really great unit to run in a lot of different circumstances. Again, I do think she's probably the best fairy type damage healer, just for like pure damage wise, right? Obviously, again, Lyra, you know, does a lot of other different things that are really nice, including sleeping the opponent, among other things. So again, yeah, so for this one, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoyed this video, so my channel for some more Palentines content. I'll see you guys in the next one.